Hello, I'm Rob Thomas, editor-in-chief of Club and Resort Business, and welcome to the Club and Resort Talks podcast. Today's podcast is our guest is Kelley Brooke from Brooke Management Group. She's implemented robot delivery at Harbor Links Golf Club on Long Island. It's fantastic. Next generation of golfers are really enjoying what's going on out there. And we talk a lot about the nuts and bolts of the operation, but also some of the fun stuff taking place. So stick around for that. But before we get to that, I got to tell you that today's podcast is sponsored by Peacock and Lewis. Peacock and Lewis is the leading firm specializing in master planning, architecture, engineering, and interior design exclusively for the private club industry. Their distinguished team of seasoned architects, designers, engineers, and industry experts possess an unparalleled understanding of private clubs' unique needs and aspirations, consistently achieving outstanding results for a wide array of club clients. Learn more at peacockandlewis.com. Thank you very much from our friends at Peacock and Lewis for sponsoring. Before we get to Kelley Brooke, let's do a little bit in the news, okay? And we're going to start in the Hamptons. Privé Padel has officially launched a high-end padel destination at the historic Montauk Yacht Club, marking the first ever paddle courts in Montauk and major milestone for the sports presence in the Hamptons. Not only the Hamptons, but the United States. We talk about pickleball being the fastest growing sport in America, but padel is the fastest growing sport internationally. It's huge. Maybe not quite as easy to implement, where you can tape down some lines on a tennis court. For pickleball, padel is going to require some infrastructure, but these are Spanish-built padel courts, and they're doing a fantastic job. And I happened to be near a padel court when we were at the CMAA in Tampa, and boy, it was hopping. So good on that. I hope to get out to Montauk and check that out myself. Next up, let's head down to the Carolinas. Zinkin Golf Design is building a new 12-hole course at, I think I'm going to go with Checkasee Creek Golf Club or Checkasee Creek Club. I'm horrible with pronunciations. The clever routing combines opening 5-hole loop geared toward higher handicap players with the final 7 holes requiring greater strategic thought. This is going to be, it's beautiful. You look at some of the pictures there, and the oak trees, the moss hanging from there. It's going to be beautiful. I would imagine once it's done, it's going to look like it's been there forever. Zinkin's doing a fantastic job, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Last but not least, let's talk about a club in Pennsylvania that's dealing with some issues. Evergreen Golf Course hits the market for $4.8 million after sinkhole closure ends a 60-year run. After nearly 6 decades of operation and several months of closure, Evergreen Golf Course in East Hempfield Township has officially been listed for sale. The 70-acre property is being offered at $4.84 million by the Iron Valley Real Estate of York County. The owners have just had enough. The sinkholes have just been too much to overcome, and they're hoping the new buyers will try to restore it as a golf course if they can get the sinkhole problems under control. Hopefully that's it. They've experienced what they're going to experience as far as the negatives, and everything's positive from here. But $4.8 million is nothing to sneeze at, but it's a lot of property. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll follow along with that story. Fingers are crossed for everybody involved. But with that in mind, let's get to Kelley Brooke and talk a little bit about those robots. Oh, hello, and welcome back to the Club and Resort Talks podcast. I'm joined by Kelley Brooke, CEO of Brooke Management Group. Kelley, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you for showing up. And before we get into the meat and potatoes, if you could give us a little 10,000-foot view of what Brooke Management Group is all about.
Well, Brooke Management Group basically operates municipal golf courses, that is, in Long Island in the metropolitan area. I started this back in 2003 with my first No, that's not true. Yeah, 2003 with my first property, which was federal property in Brooklyn. And just over the last several years have built it up to what it is today. Now we operate five courses in Long Island. We have Bethpage Black. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Montauk Downs, Harbor Links, right, is what we just took over January 9th. And then we have the pro shop and the instruction at Merrick Golf Course and Lido Golf Course. So we're all over the island. We basically got it covered.
Well, fantastic. Yeah. Beth Beige Black, I suppose a few of our listeners have heard of that bad boy. And of course, Lido has a really impressive history. But we are here to talk about Harbor Links and what's going on specifically with technology there. They implemented a robot delivery, or they're in the process of implementing robot delivery. I guess, what the initial goal and what went behind the decision?
Harbor Links is such a great course. It's a great venue. It's got 27 holes. I apologize. So we have a nine-hole executive course. We have an 18-hole course. It was always operated by Palmer Group, but Palmer Group was managing the town's money. Um, and so basically, it's a municipality, still is a municipality, but they put it out for bid in 2024, and my company bid on it. And it's a new structure now. So now what it is that we are the management company, but we use our money, our expertise, our employees, our insurance, our everything, and we pay the town rent. With that being said, the clientele there was, mainly retired people, in my opinion, and even on the executive course, which we're now calling the lower. And when we bid on it, I really wanted to try to attract a younger group, the millennials, the Gen Zs, and really modernize the course. So the first thing I did was I reached out to KiwiBot, which is now robot.com, and asked them if they would be willing to help us with food delivery. I wanted to get away from that old fashioned model where the girl in the short skirt goes out and just hands out beer and chips. I wanted it to be full service on the golf course, and we wanted it to be tech driven. So the robot people and I really formulated a plan. And in April, we launched this, and it's been a huge success.
So I guess the next question would be, what do you look for in a tech vendor? Yeah, robot.com's a big brand. KiwiBot, like you said, formerly KiwiBot. What do you look for when you're looking for a tech vendor like that?
Well, anything that I think a millennial or a Gen Z would be attracted to. And it's not just them. I mean, everybody. We had a gentleman come from California this week just to see the robots and play golf there. So we are attracting, and he was, I would say my age. I'm in my 50s. So it is attracting all age groups. But, we're doing the robots. We are modernizing the golf range with technology. Anything that and of course, all of our carts are GPS. Driven. So anything that we can do to modernize this golf course and put it at the forefront of golf course technology, that's what we're looking for.
So can you walk us through the player experience from placing an order in the app, I believe, to receiving delivery on the golf course? What goes into all that?
Sure. What we did was we created QR codes and stickers and we put them on every single golf cart. So you're sitting in your cart on the seventh hole, you scan the QR code, a menu pops up, you put in all your information, your credit card. The order gets sent straight to the kitchen and to the bar because it takes two parts to make this because, they're going to order a transfusion in addition to a hamburger, let's say. And so both the kitchen and the bar receive the order. They put the order together. We have a person that's designated just to fill in the orders, and putting them in the robots. And then the robot takes off, finds the person on the golf course. And once it gets there, they scan their driver's license if there's alcohol involved. And the lid opens and they take the food, and the robot goes back. And let me tell you, these robots are the cutest things you've ever seen. They've got eyelashes and eyes, and they say hello when they arrive. It's really quite the experience.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're speaking my language with transfusions and hamburgers. So, hey, count me in when I get there. What kind of impact has the robot delivery had on the F&B revenue and the labor efficiency?
It's very hard for me to answer that because we just took over January 9th and there really was just cart service. So I imagine they were doing minimal orders, a minimal food and service beverage. food and service on the course. But I can tell you right now that in a course of a day, because we've got a beer garden, we've got the restaurant, and so people could still stop at the 19th hole if they wanted to. But about 35 to 40% on a given day of food service is allocated towards the robots right now. So they're doing a tremendous amount of service.
Wow, you mentioned beer garden. Every time you answer a question, you pique my interest. What adjustments were needed operationally or logistically to support the robots?
Well, people, we got criticized at the beginning, of course, from because we're on a municipality, so people think they have a say in everything, and they do. It's still their course. But we were criticized because they said we were putting people out of work. I said, and that's absolutely not the truth. We had one last year, they had one college girl that, per shift that was driving around in a cart. Now we had to hire an additional cook during certain hours. We had to hire a person that was specifically allocated, dedicated towards packing these robots up and taking the orders. We have to have a bartender there from sun up to sundown now, where they never had one before. We have the robot.com people have a technician that is on hand all day long to make sure that the robots, because we have five of them, are functioning properly and getting to their destinations. It just, I think that for that one beverage person, we now employed five additional people.
There's always a cloud, right? I mean, people are gonna piss and moan about just about anything you do. Even you can cure cancer, and they're gonna say, "Why didn't you do this 5 years ago?"
100%.
But so on the positive side, what are your members and your your guests, your players? Have they responded?
I mean, I have to tell you that we have to brand this a little better on my end. We're calling it now Forbot, Fore bot, and we need to probably do a little better job branding it. But I'm seeing hashtags all over the place for Harbor Links and the robots. So again, as I said, someone came from California. Now they probably were visiting New York anyway, but he was from California and he chose to come to Harbor Links this weekend because he had seen something online about the robots. So it is attracting, and I'm seeing our demographic since we started is changing tremendously. I see now that our average age is probably 25 to 35 on a weekend. So it is changing dramatically.
Well, I've wanted to go to Borelli's on Long Island for a long time now. So next time I visit Borelli's, I'm definitely stopping at Harbor Links. And I, like you, I'm in my 50s, so it attracts everybody, not just the young kids. I look forward to seeing this myself. What kind of food and beverage is best suited for robot delivery? And are there limitations like is my beer when I crack my beer, is it going to be all fizzy? What's happening?
Right. Well, the robots have shock absorbers, so they don't really get shaken up that much. And we try to keep them on the cart paths. It's all GPS geographed, so they know. The technician that was on site before we started spent a lot of time with us trying to find the best routes to every golfer out there. So it's not like they're going through roots and through trees. They're staying primarily on the cart path. Um, but to your question, we anything that's on our menu can be delivered. We had a group of ladies a couple of weeks ago that ordered three salads, three chopped salads. I don't know how they ate them on the golf course, but they did. But anything that's on our menu can go out there. Now, with that being said, our menu is a bar menu right now. It's our first year there. We're not specializing in dinner. We're trying to find our way here and see, and it's very fluid. We're testing every week. We test a different kind of menu, different items to see what hits, what's not hitting. But it's not like where you could order a steak right now because it's really primarily a pub menu.
How about challenges, weather related? They're fine out there in the rain. If it starts to drizzle, terrain, technical reliability, everything Wi-Fi is okay.
Yeah, Wi-Fi's been great. We've been running it in the rain, even though on my little sticker on the card it says we don't run in rain, just because I don't want to hear complaints if someone comes and that one day we decide that we're not going to run it. Um, I guess there because it has set paths. We did find what two of the robots got stuck a couple weeks ago because it had rained and it had dug kind of divots and it got stuck in the mud. So we had to go out and relieve it from that. And then we just adjusted the course a couple of feet and it was back on track again.
what advice we're going out to GMs and golf pros everywhere. What advice would you give a club that wants to pilot a similar tech forward service?
I mean, I am all for it. I'm telling you that we're doing, like I said, 30% of our food and beverage right now is being dedicated towards the technology. It's created this buzz that I would never have gotten had I not done this. That was the whole reason I did it. I didn't even know if I was going to make money, but I knew that it would put me on the map immediately because we were the first golf course in the world to have this. And so it would get people talking. And I think in this day of competition in Long Island, especially, I can't tell you how many courses are here between private and public. You need these little edges to get people to come to you versus another public course.
Well, let's hear it for the technology. I love it. I'm going to get you out on this one. I always ask our guests to look into the crystal ball. 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Beyond delivery, what do you see other implementations for the robots?
Well, for these robots specifically, they're pretty talented. I mean, it's an advertising means, so we're now exploring advertising on them. So maybe it's a national brand like Titleist might, because we're on the Gold Coast of Long Island. The richest people in the world are playing our municipality. So, we're seeing CEOs there every day. We're seeing hedge fund managers. We're hoping to sell advertising on the robots. But in addition to that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm watch every day. I look and to see if anything new is popping up on the market. I can't wait to go down to the PGA show this year. I hope to have some of our. No, I'm not trying to replace people, but there's not enough hours in the day for our maintenance crew. We have a crew of over 30 people and they can't keep up with it. So I would like to start to cut grass with robots soon. I'd like to get the robot that's picking up golf balls in the driving range. Right now, we can't do it because we have too many ruts, but we're going to smooth it out. Really, anything that's technology driven. I have a company that I'm working with that helped us with our advertising deck, and they're in hotels and they're smart iPads, smart, tablets on in each room, and it's revolutionizing the hotel industry. Right now we use Visage on our golf carts and we can run ads and we can do this and we can do that, but I'm hoping the technology on golf carts gets a little more advanced so that we can implement we can kind of use it as a tool to run multiple things on our course. So I can't wait to see where the industry goes. I'm completely into this. I think it's exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, you are at the forefront of this technology on the golf course. So fingers crossed, everything keeps on going up, 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 and we'll be keeping an eye on you.
Great. Thanks so much.